Now, knowing you, I know that you're aware of the things that people are saying. You're moving up in two-weight classes. You're the smaller man. Whatever you do, Terence Crawford, don't exchange against him. What do you feel you have to do?
Be myself. I'm 41-0 for a reason.
Stephen A.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Mayweather was undefeated for the last half of his career.
For more than 20 years, many believed Floyd Mayweather's perfect 50-0 record would remain untouchable. He was a phantom in the ring, a defensive genius who made the extraordinary look routine. But after one historic night, a single bold statement from the fighter who had faced both legends shook that legacy. The debate shifted from simply comparing careers to questioning whether Mayweather's entire era had been surpassed. The controversy ignited when Terence Crawford dominated Canelo Alvarez, achieving what many thought was impossible and raising his hand in victory.
Terence Crawford is the best fighter on the planet. Pound for pound, he's that dude. In this four-belt era, he is now the undisputed world champion 3 times over. 140 pounds, 147, now 168 pounds, claiming all the belts. You don't see people doing that very often. Going up against a guy who was perceived as being bigger and stronger, Crawford was strong. Crawford was strong enough to fend him off, strong enough to make him respect his own power. He used his jab, he used his distance. He had poise in the ring, he wasn't rattled. He backed up and moved when necessary and kept us different. He exchanged enough to gain respect when necessary. It was a brilliant, masterful fight.
The real shock came during the post-fight press conference. When asked to compare Crawford to his former opponent Floyd Mayweather, Canelo didn't hesitate, with the world's media hanging on his every word. He responded simply,
"If you can compare and contrast the fight between yourself and Floyd Mayweather Jr. and tonight's bout with Terence Bud Crawford, if you can."
No, I think Crawford is way better than Floyd Mayweather.
Coming from the only boxer in the world who had faced both men, this was more than just an opinion. It was a revelation that reverberated through the sport. That single statement ignited a heated debate, one that was soon joined by a prominent voice. Observing from the sidelines, Stephen A. Smith was immediately captivated. Like many others, he had expected Crawford to rely on his technical skill and maintain distance to outbox the larger, stronger opponent. But Crawford had other plans.
Well, I appreciate Crawford making my prediction come through. Coming into the fight, I had him winning by decision. I thought he was the superior boxer. I thought he would be able to take a punch. And as long as he didn't stay there and exchange with Canelo, I thought he could do it. What surprised me is that there were times during the fight, he did stand there and exchange with Canelo and took it. Took some body shots to the liver. Took some headshots. Exchanged. And still ended up winning this fight. I thought from the 8th round on, he just put on a boxing clinic. But I got to give credit where credit is due. Crawford deserved to win the fight.
Smith was astonished that Crawford didn't just survive, he thrived in the fire. He traded punches with Canelo, showing that his skill set went far beyond technical ability. He had heart and grit. Smith remarked, "What I didn't expect was for him to stand in there, exchange, and come out on top. He did this multiple times, and that's why he deserves so much credit." Breaking down the fight, Smith noted that after 9 rounds he had it 5-4 in favor of Crawford, who then went on to dominate the final 3 rounds with a masterclass in boxing. Crawford absorbed Canelo's power and responded with precision and resilience, triumphing in situations where a smaller fighter might have faltered.
Crawford's a special fighter because he's got a mean streak. He doesn't back up from anything. He's usually the superior boxer in the ring. He finds a way to win. No matter who he's going up against, no matter what power you have, what boxing skills you have, he is truly a generational kind of fighter. He wants to go in the ring and not just beat you, but show you he was a better man. And he's not one who believes that just a knockout does that. He likes outboxing you and showing you that his skill level is superior to yours. And he showed it tonight.
It was a masterclass, yet while Smith was thoroughly impressed by Crawford's performance, he wasn't ready to declare him the new king. He still remembered a different kind of master, a phantom in the ring, whose brilliance Crawford, despite all his heart, had yet to fully match.
Mayweather was undefeated for the last half of his career with one hand. He constantly broke his hand.
Yeah.
He would go into a ring knowing he had no shot at knocking somebody out because his hands were hurt too much, and literally walked in the ring and said, I'm going to embarrass you and humiliate you by showing the world you can't hit me.
This is where Stephen A. Smith drew a crucial line, making a distinction that shifted the entire debate. He reminded everyone that Floyd Mayweather was a defensive genius, a master whose primary goal was to win without ever being hit. Floyd knew he couldn't rely on knockout power, especially after his hands suffered significant damage in the latter half of his career. This wasn't just speculation, the evidence was well documented.
Floyd Mayweather looks me in my face and he says, I'm going to take him out about the 8th or 9th round. And I said, your hand's always broken. You ain't known for your punching power since you moved up from lightweight to welterweight. Why are you so sure you're going to do this? He said, Stephen A., he's a UFC fighter. He said, and he's a striker. He's accustomed to coming at you and throwing punches. What he's not accustomed to doing is punching while he's throwing backwards, while he's moving backwards and pushing you off of him. He says, I'm going to walk right into him and stay at his chest. He's going to have to push me off in order to throw his punches. He said he's going to be circling the ring. He said by around 4 or 5, he's not going to have any legs. He's going to be done. And he said, and I'll just toy with him and keep him around until around the 8th or the 9th round. And that is exactly what Floyd Money Mayweather did. He told me exactly what he was going to do, and he did it.
He's the man.
Mayweather himself admitted that his hands were extremely fragile, revealing that he hadn't been able to spar for an entire month before his fight with Conor McGregor due to injury.
You hurt your hand? Huh? I thought you hurt your hand. How about so? Okay. All right. Relax, baby. The job is done. All right.
Put in a bucket of ice, man. Yeah. Get a bucket of ice. It's killing me.
I'm saying Shane hit me with a hell of a shot. Okay. Actually, 2 shots. Oh, okay. But even in that particular round, what I said to Shane was this. I was like,
you just said something to him when you grabbed him.
I said, you got to kill me.
Oh, shit. I wasn't ready, Floyd.
I said, that was a good one. I said, that was a good one, but you got to kill me.
Wow.
I said, you got to kill me. And then I'm not going to lie. I meant it.
Adding fuel to the debate, reports have suggested that in the latter part of his career, Mayweather fought almost exclusively in Las Vegas, one of the few jurisdictions that permitted fighters to use numbing injections, like lidocaine, for hand pain. This fueled the notion that his hand issues significantly influenced not just where he fought, but how he fought. Yet despite these limitations, he remained virtually untouchable in the ring.
Rocky Marciano was 49-0. Before Floyd got to 50-0, he was the heavyweight champ. Did anyone ever consider Rocky Marciano the GOAT? No, not seriously, no. Why would Floyd be considered the GOAT? Because he beat more fighters than Rocky did, more great ones? That's true. But really, Floyd was careful in the way he selected opponents. Don't get that twist. It's not that Floyd didn't fight a lot of great fighters. He did. It's not that I don't think he would have beaten a lot of the tougher fighters than he fought. I think he probably would have, but he didn't do it. He waited. He waited till Pacquiao wasn't at his best anymore. He didn't fight Margarito when Margarito was tearing everyone up. He waited for the right time to fight people. He got paid twice as much for fighting Pacquiao in a less dangerous fight than he would have had he fought him when everyone wanted to see him fight. Floyd is among the all-time greats, but he ain't number one.
Greg Hackett concurred, noting that the Floyd who faced Canelo was a fully realized fighter with an impeccably refined style, in contrast to Crawford's more aggressive, Wilder-like approach.
I can't say he capping. I can't, because I don't know what he felt. But when I heard that, what I think is, when Floyd beat me, I was 23, I wasn't polished. When Bud beat me, I was the man. I was the man. And he beat me fair and square. He beat me at my game and he beat me at his game. That's why Canelo said that. Do I believe that? It's tough to believe. But I can only take Canelo's word because he's the man that's been in the ring with both of them. But I understand why he said it. I was a kid when I fought Floyd. He wasn't a kid literally, but he was young. He was young. There was a lot he didn't know. There was a lot he didn't understand about boxing that he later on learned and got better. But Bud beat the better version of me, even though it's the ran down version. I'm saying that because it is some wear and tear there with Canelo. I've been saying it the whole time. When a guy got almost 70 fights in current time, with all those big camps he been doing and all that. Trust me, it's on wear and tear there. I'm not making excuses for Canelo. I'm just saying.
I don't know. That's what it gives it that air.
I also think you got to remember when you talking about a Mexican fighter, they big on punishment. He might also feel Crawford punches harder than Floyd and took more chances than Floyd took. Floyd really was super speed that night. Like, everything speed, and it irritated Canelo because Canelo couldn't do what he wanted to do, and he looked nothing like himself. Like I said, I think it was just times where Canelo felt like, damn, I could have had it. With Floyd, I think he felt like paralyzed. Like, damn, I can't catch this motherfucker. He too fast. But with Crawford, I felt like he maybe was saying, damn, I could have, if I would have threw this, or if I would have did that. You know what I mean? Because it was times Crawford sat there and caught a punch and countered back. You know what I'm saying? He let Canelo throw. Like, go ahead, throw your shit. He caught that shit, boom, and come right back with the hook. Same shot he caught Earl with. He was touching Canelo with some of that same shit, man. And it was just like, and it was times where Crawford was imposing himself on Canelo. He was stepping to Canelo at times. He didn't do it the whole fight, but I'm just saying it was times he stepped to him. Floyd did too, but Floyd just was so fast, so much faster. And the education was like totally different. Like when Canelo fought Floyd, Canelo was in middle school. He wasn't even, you know what I'm saying? Floyd by that time was already a Harvard graduate. You know what I'm saying? So
Crawford, meanwhile, absorbed shots from Canelo and showcased both his chin and his resilience. Yet, in Stephen A. Smith's view, the only thing that set him apart from Floyd was that he had to prove it in the ring. Before the debate could escalate further, many observers pointed out a simpler truth. The two fighters belonged to different eras. It wasn't just a matter of skill, it was a matter of time and context. Crawford acknowledged this with respect, stating, "Floyd is the best fighter of his era, and I believe I am the best fighter of mine."
Sit up there and say that. I think that Floyd Mayweather was such a magician defensively. And we have to look at Floyd Money Mayweather in this regard. Once he moved up to welterweight, his hands were always damaged. So he kind of knew he wasn't going to be able to knock you out for the most part. And still, he walked into the ring and put on masterful performances because he was so superior, skill-wise and defensively. You can't say enough. Tonight with Crawford, for example, we saw him take a punch on several occasions. With Floyd, we didn't see that too often because you couldn't hit him. That's the difference.
This perspective adds a crucial layer of nuance, suggesting that greatness isn't a single, universal measure, but rather a distinction tied to the era in which a fighter dominates. The comparison becomes even more complex when age is factored in. Floyd's uncle, Jeff Mayweather, noted that when Floyd faced a young Canelo, he was already 36, well past his physical prime. This detail makes a direct comparison between a peak Crawford and a seasoned Canelo extremely challenging.
He just got something that I want.
And it's not just the title, it's what else?
It's everything. He got everything, and I'm coming to get it.
When you beat him, you'll have everything?
That's right.
This frames the debate not as a question of who would win in a head-to-head matchup, but as an examination of who reigned supreme in their respective eras of boxing history.
Well, also if we remember, Canelo at that time was a razor-thin decision. Floyd won, majority decision. C.J. Ross had it with what a lot of people had as a draw. And then the other two judges scored it for Floyd, of course. Yeah, nobody. And that was a Floyd at the top of his game with a very green Canelo with very little experience, and he still took him, into deep water. So
what was Canelo? What, 21? 20 what? 23, 25?
Yeah, he was. Very, very young in the game, very obviously.
Very young. He had more fights than Floyd, and he lost.
Yeah, but
a man that was 30-something years old, 36.
But Floyd was clearly at the top of his career, and Canelo had fought a lot of people.
But how you at the top of your career in your prime? You in your prime? You ain't in your prime when you're at 36.
While debates about their primes and defensive strategies are extensive, one fact remains undisputed. Terence Crawford boasts a remarkable record that even Floyd Mayweather has never come close to matching.
Comparisons between Terence Crawford and Floyd Mayweather. We've even had the conversation to go as far as who would win in a fight between Terence and Floyd, and I truly don't know the answer to that question.
I do.
You do?
Yes.
Yeah. Who would win that fight?
Floyd.
Floyd would win that
Yes,
fight.
sir. I love you, Terrence.
Always figures it out.
Yeah,
He's a chess master.
Yeah, his IQ in
But
that
the
sense
funny
is
thing
crazy.
about it is Terrence has been the only other guy that people can say he always figures it out.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that's true.
But you gotta have an OG somewhere.
Anybody
though.
else? Yeah.
There's an OG
Somebody
somewhere.
got a pioneer, right? Yeah, you gotta.
There's an OG you can't out figure out somewhere, and I
yeah.
just believe Floyd is that OG you can't out figure out.
Terence Crawford became the first boxer in history to be recognized as the undisputed champion in 3 separate weight divisions. The significance of this achievement was immediately recognized by one of modern boxing's most influential figures, Turki Alalik, who hailed Crawford as the fighter of the century. To put this into perspective, while Floyd Mayweather won titles across 5 weight classes, he never held every major belt in any single division. Crawford, on the other hand, claimed every championship belt in 3 different categories, a striking contrast that speaks volumes about their respective legacies. This was no stroke of luck. It was the result of meticulous planning. Crawford later described the intensity of his training, explaining that his team focused on building strength to ensure his body could withstand anything Canelo Alvarez might throw at him. This feat firmly etched Crawford's name in boxing history, demonstrating dominance over entire divisions in a way even Mayweather, Money himself, could not. The differences in their careers extend beyond the belts they earned. They reflect the paths they chose. Mayweather, for example, was more than a fighter. He was the architect of his own legacy.
In accomplishments, he's 3 division undisputed, moved up 2 divisions to beat Canelo. So he's probably he's accomplished more than Mayweather for sure. Mayweather never became undisputed, but that doesn't mean he's better than Mayweather. I think in a fight at welterweight, Mayweather in his prime would beat Crawford, and Pacquiao in his prime would probably beat Crawford. But Crawford has accomplished more.
However, this technique has drawn sharp criticism from the younger generation. Active superstar Ryan Garcia made a bold statement, claiming that Mayweather perfected the art of knowing when to fight and when not to fight. Garcia accused him of changing the sport for the worse by avoiding opponents in their prime.
Wild, because if you look at Floyd's resume, it's much deeper than Crawford's. And Floyd was faster and he had a better defense and all that stuff. But Floyd picked and chose when he fought guys, especially once he left lightweight. He wiped out the junior lights, bring him. Lightweight, he jumps up to Jose Luis Castillo first thing. A lot of people think he lost the first fight, I didn't, but then he won the rematch. But once he left lightweight, he was careful about when he fought guys. So even though his resume is deeper with names, people remember, but he didn't want it with certain dudes at certain times.
Crawford, on the other hand, has been a force of nature, always ready to face anyone to prove his superiority. In a prime versus prime matchup, the physical statistics speak for themselves. Crawford stands 1 inch taller and, more importantly, holds a 3-inch reach advantage, a crucial edge in a technical boxing match that even a great like Mayweather might have struggled to overcome. His resume is extensive, yet it reflects carefully chosen challenges. 4 years, fans and critics alike have watched him take on the best, showing an unrelenting desire to prove his dominance. Beyond his fearless mindset,